Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome back to Freshwater Falls here in City Skylines. As you guys can see, a lot has changed since the last episode. Let's just go ahead and dive in with the first major change, and that is the expanded downtown section. In the last episode, I was laying out the groundwork for this area. I was doing the roads and a bit of the tracks and train stations, and as you guys can see here, it's pretty built up now. Go ahead and switch over to my actual view here. There we go. Yeah, there's actually a lot to talk about. So I've definitely filled in a lot of roads up here. There's plenty of secondary roads in areas like this where we have some apartments, parking lots, parks, and all your usual services to help this area to grow. Got a small industrial section here to provide some jobs. And that train station is finally doing some brisk business right there at $4.46 per week. Heading on towards the university section. Lots of new highway areas to connect it to the outside world. I still have this kind of office area right here in the center, but almost every major connecting road for this part of the city has been changed. I'll bring up my traffic here and show you guys. By the end of last episode, with all this new stuff up here, the areas down here in the original part of downtown were just packed. Like, traffic was just completely standing still. So to fix that, I've gone through and redone basically all of the major highways through here. Most of the main avenues are now one way. Might as well just start from the highway right here. These ramps are mostly the same coming off of the highway system. They come to a two-directional avenue right here. Still causing some traffic problems with that turn, but okay for now. But this road right here is now a 6-lane, one-way avenue. And I've had to raise that up onto a bridge just to ease up on all the intersections that were blocking traffic down here. Because of the bridges and all of these pedestrian walkways and the railroad bridges through here, we have lost a lot of building space for our buildings, but the overall improvement to traffic has been most definitely worth it. And that one-way avenue then connects to this one-way avenue that starts right here and goes all the way to the beginning of this new commercial district and on to this second half of downtown over here. So this road right here used to be just all intersections and two-way avenues. And it's now a one-way avenue with a bridge. So the one-way goes this way. From here, traffic can either head right up into the new commercial section, or it can turn left, still a one-way avenue, onto the one-way right here, and basically get to right here where it can split off in any number of directions to head either in a loop or on up into this new section of the city. If the traffic does loop, it has to go pretty far and then come back around to this one-way avenue right here. It then comes on down and over the road that they just came in on, and on out towards the industrial part of the city over here at Mountains Bounty. You guys will notice that there's now a on-ramp for the highway right here. So any traffic that's pulling out of the downtown area right here can just get right on the highway, connect to the rest of the ramp, get on this huge bridge over Mountains Bounty, and connect all the way up to the highway here. And if traffic that's coming from the original downtown section right down through here needs to make a loop, it can take this two-way road, or one-way, two-lane road right here, connect with this avenue, and then to this intersection, and make the loop right there over the bridge that they just went under. So, it's a bit confusing with all the one-ways, but traffic is seeming to flow better. We still do have some red intersections, but overall traffic is actually moving, even if it is occasionally still sitting at stoplights. Additionally, to help traffic to flow off of these one-way roads, there are occasional ramps like this one to pull traffic off of the avenue and get it down to this bi-directional road right here. And then there's another track split off for the trains right here. It allows them to skip this station entirely if they have no stops there. Go right over the houses here and reconnect with the main line. Speaking of the trains, let's talk about them next. I've put probably a good 10 hours of work into this city just for fun to get it ready for this episode and to give us a jumping off point. And outside of the usual, extra zoning and city growth, I've also been doing some realism improvements. The rail system in City Skylines is pretty forgiving. It is based off of those electric trains, but I do have steam engines and some freight trains, so I'm trying to keep my trains a little more realistic. This line right here used to just slope right down like this and connect with this line right here, but while it looks okay from above, if you look right here, guys, it was a really steep incline to go up that hill. It was ridiculous. So just to make it look better, I've created this loop back right here that gives it a much more even grade. Still not necessarily 100% realistic, but it looks a lot better. Additionally, this tunnel right here is now less of a steep incline, and this main line right here, I've gone through and just averaged the entire thing out so that it's not just one steep hill right at the top, but the entire hillside is somewhat gently sloping. And I also added a couple of extra, I guess you could call them access lines for the trains in the center of the city. There's quite a few switchbacks right here just to help trains avoid being stuck on each other. I have, I think, 11 or 12 train stations now in the city, and the amount of trains and freight trains running is getting pretty crazy. So for example, this line right here, the second bridge, actually goes higher in elevation more quickly, and then has a direct route through this entire trestle system to go right over the other lines below. Expensive, but it's working well. From there it can connect over here to these trestles and then on into the new city area over here. So, while that main access bridge is the main addition to the rails, it's definitely not the only one. There are multiple rail lines throughout the entire city now just to help trains pass each other. I also found this really cool train station on the Steam Workshop that adds an underground route for trains that just want to bypass the station. So if they're not waiting to do a passenger pickup, they can just cut right through and reconnect and keep going. Almost every train station now has a couple of switchbacks and multiple lines to help the trains get through more efficiently. Along those same plans of getting traffic and trains moving more efficiently without backup, this entire area right here, all of these interchanges have been completely redone. And this station is also the passable station. There's now a second line. I had to rebuild all of these interchanges to make room for it. A bunch of switches right here, and this area of apartments and all is actually gone to make room for a second train station. There were just way too many trains trying to get through on these two lines. So a lot of the passenger stops are now handled by this station on the far side, and there's plenty of pedestrian bridges to help people get across to it. The tracks then split and diverge a bunch more times. There's some access tunnels, and I can show you guys where those go. All kinds of underground trains right there. One comes out down here, where all the lines start to come together again. There's the tunnel exit right there. And then two more come out right here and right here. And this section right here, guys, if you remember, it had a bunch of just crazy loops for the trains Just ridiculous curves that you would never see in real life. So to help make that a bit more realistic looking, even though it was functioning okay, I have made the curves a lot more gentle and brought them into a bridge system with multiple trestles across the river, and that leads to the rail yard over here. Yeah, I went a bit crazy. There's one of the steam trains right there, making a bypass on the freight train. Who's going to have to wait his turn, or nope, he takes the lead. So basically, instead of all these really rough looking sharp curves for all the rails, they all just dump right into the rail yard. And that gives the trains a nice, realistic looking area to make their turnarounds and head back into the city. And they can branch back into the main part on this side of the river, or they can take this bridge right here that kind of goes right over the end of the rail yard, and then connects back to this trestle and on into this side of the city, right alongside of the highway here. This rail yard actually gave me the opportunity to make good use of that third railroad depot. I'm going to swing way across the city here and go over to this far corner. This is my original rail yard, and you guys will notice that it has a lot less traffic now. Still a steady flow of traffic, but less. One of the 3 depots that was right here is also missing. I have moved it to that new rail yard. This switch has definitely cleaned up some of the crazy backed up rail traffic and truck traffic on this corner of the city. Much more organized. And going all the way back over here, man, this area of the city as a whole is just getting huge. But this has definitely given a good amount of traffic to this side of the city as well. I say that as there is a lull, and here they come. Let me just speed it up here. Yep, lots of off-ramps from this area that lets traffic come on down under the highway here, through the tunnel, and on into the rail yard. They also have their own apartments and fire station to keep things running smoothly. Is that an Apple store? It is! Wow, an Apple store in a rail yard. Someone is not a great business planner. Well, that covers all of the changes to the transportation and rail systems for the most part. But you guys might have noticed on the corner of my screen a few minutes back, we have a new airport up here next to the new area of the city. We built this one a few episodes back, and a lot of you guys did point out that it was a bit crowded, even with all the area that I had cleared out for it. I mean, we have pedestrian paths right here that go right next to the runway. Not super realistic, so let me go ahead and just destroy this, and this, and this. Clean up some of these paths right here. I'm going to turn this section into a tourist attraction, basically. Huh. There's still an underground pedestrian path right there. But, going back to the new airport. I cleared off a pretty solid section of terrain just off of the university that I built right over here, and plopped down this nice-sized airport. It works out pretty well because air traffic comes right down the mountain valley and onto the runway. And there are much fewer trees and buildings to get in the way. To help feed traffic to the airport, I actually changed this split off on the highway to turn right and go into a tunnel system. Traffic heading to the original downtown area now has to take what's essentially a 3-lane off-ramp here, but the highway turns and goes underground, kind of follows the rail system here, and pops out, whoops, there it is, pops out right there. Quite a few levels up from this avenue that goes to the old downtown area. That feeds through all of these interchanges and then breaks off to the right here, and feeds traffic onto some apartments and houses, and some businesses to help support the airfield over here. Traffic for the airport itself then breaks off, and check that out, plenty of parking lots for the airfield. It's definitely got more room to breathe over here, and it feels like an actual airport facility versus just an airfield crammed into a city. Got a nice tree-lined street right here. Plenty of bus stations, some houses, and some businesses, and more parking. And of course they have their own train station here as well. The airport, as of right now, is not doing a ton of business, but it's doing about 125 in passengers per week. Got their own little fire station right there too. That same highway that feeds the airport also feeds right past this new industrial section and new downtown area. And I'm just realizing that this is a really awkwardly shaped ramp right there. I think I put that one in backwards. There we go. That off-ramp goes right to the university block. Or traffic can keep going, take the ramp here, and enter in the top of the road, or go right through the mountain in a 6-lane avenue to connect over here. And that feeds right into this new downtown section. If I bring up my road tool here and I go underground, you guys can see that there's actually a ton of underground tunnels. Well, maybe not a ton, but some important ones that help to feed traffic off the highway. This ramp right here, which is a left right before the right that goes to the airport, this ramp goes left, over the industrial section, over the commercial district with all their fancy trees and office buildings, and then it splits. Traffic can go down this ramp and feed to right here, or actually into this tunnel, which then goes up the hill and comes out right here onto a one-way avenue. That then feeds to this area right here. So yeah guys, that is the new downtown section and the new airport. What does that leave? Honestly, I've made so many small changes, I'm not going to even try and cover even half of them, but that's most of the major changes. I think all that's left to talk about is I have bought a ton of new terrain here. I do have the 25 tile purchasing mod reinstalled, so I can actually buy up to 25 tiles in total. And I have put a dam way downriver just to help with my electricity. It's 48 megawatts, not a lot for the price that we're paying for it, but this dam actually could not be any higher because this is a very, very shallow river, and I did one that was about another 30% higher than this, and the river actually backed up and flooded this entire rail yard and then kept backing up until all the way over here at the original downtown area, right over here, this area was starting to flood as well. The river just slowed down and started backing up. And you guys can see right here, it's already cutting it pretty close in some areas. Let me actually do just a bit of adjustment here. So yeah, there's the dam. And I think it's time to get building. I have all of these nice roadways here. I think it's definitely time to connect them to something cool. Let's see here. I'm gonna make this a two-directional road here, and then put an avenue right across the center, like so. And how about a highway that goes... Oh, we got a fire station here. I'll put you right there. Let's have this ramp go like this. There we go. And then down like this. Let's do this. There's really no room for an exit for that road if it was one way, so I'll make it two-way. Cut out some of the power lines here. And I'll make you guys apartments. Right there. And more apartments. And more apartments there. And then this will be offices. And heavy commercial. Now, all that being said, I'd like to actually put a monument here to attract tourists. We've got plenty of people coming off the trains. I just need to connect the sidewalks over here. Like so. There we go. And then this one. Like that. Okay. Unique buildings and monuments. Okay, I actually can't build any monuments, it looks like. Fusion power plant. Those are like milestones for your city, but I can build unique buildings. I've got a bunch of these here. Cathedrals. What else? Vero Insurance. That's a huge building. Grande Arch. Now that's pretty cool looking. For 20,000. Let's see if it attracts people. What else would go with it? A BMW dealership. That's pretty high class. Let's go for that. And to keep property values going up, gotta have a park. I'll put one right next to our fancy new cube here. What else can I build? Do a parking lot for the cube. And some nice trees. That's zoned. Let me fix that. There we go. So we have our dealership. And then our Grande Arch. Bus stations. Let's move this stop to here. And just see what grows. I think all of this actually needs to be commercial. That's what the demand is for. And some light commercial there. More light commercial here. Okay. Well, that's a pretty spiffy new section for the city. I honestly can't remember if I showed you guys this yet either. I just kind of made a, what would you even call this? An extra section for the city? Just somewhere for the highways to kind of dump into. And then there's some one-way roads that bring traffic back across to this section. Yep, it comes out right there. And I also have a modern art museum over here that's not getting a lot of tourism. But hey, it looks cool. Hopefully we're going to see more train traffic and more tourists for this section pretty soon. Okay. Here is an overview for you guys of what the city is looking like. It's turning into quite the sprawl. Have the rail ecosystem down here. A few touristy areas. One of our original downtown areas with the baseball stadium that's pretty new. Some farmland. This crazy, like, farming and apartment megaplex, like, what would you even call this mess? It does not look like farmland. It does not look like, well, residences either. It's just kind of a mess. I'm still not super happy with how this area looks. I might actually go back and redo this in the future, but for now it's functioning. And of course the old downtown over here. Now with 200% more trains. And a lot of passenger traffic. What on earth? 1,200 passengers per week. That's impressive. Then the old downtown industry with our power plants too. Traffic flowing pretty well. The original train trestle. And all of this farming area. And then the second downtown region. And the new downtown region. Oh yeah, we also have our lakeside over here. Very exclusive community. Next to this nice little pond right here at the foot of the mountains. It's pretty close to where this pretty awesome looking river is. I actually remember making this for version 2.0 of this Appalachia terrain. This was a ton of fun to make because the water has actual physics. So you basically place your water source, in this case it's up here in this spring with the waterfalls, and then you just get your terrain brushes, and kind of like you can now even in game, you just make cool looking terrain. Let the water flow right over it. Too much fun. So, in my expansion of the city, I did notice that we have some natural ore right here in the side of the mountain. That might be my next area of expansion to get some industry going. Let's kick things off for this industrial mining section by pulling this 6-lane avenue over to that area. I think I'm actually going to curve it here. I'd like to avoid bridges where possible, but I guess I'll leave that one. This terrain is pretty rough. And there's the resources right there. And there's a connection for us. I'm wondering if I can... Yeah, let's do this. Let's connect this roadway right through here, under the bridge and under the tracks. I'll just create a small dip for it. Just like that. Cool. Let's not forget to reconnect train. There we go. And here. What is that? That looks ridiculous. That's a much more reasonable slope. That one, however, is not. This is going to be an awkward shape no matter what, I think. The best solution is going to be just dig this road down even further. Turn off snapping here. Okay. Now that should get us a better looking train bridge. Looking good so far. That one looks good there. I'll just smooth that one out just a little bit and we'll move on here. Okay, yeah, that'll have to do for now. What's up next? I think I'm actually going to level this part out too. There we go. I'm already seeing some traffic on that connecting road too. Cool. Next up, time to create a region. Or district, I guess. Defined as mining. And seeing the resources only extend over here, this entire section right here is going to be apartments for all of the workers. There we go. Do some commercial. And then basically all apartments right through here. That's going to lower some property values for our beachfront community, but they'll survive. And here they come. Water's looking pretty good. Let's just fill in the blank spots. There we go. And there we go. more commercial through here. And where are those resources? There you are. This district is now the ore industry for this town. All the way up through here. That looks pretty good. I see more resources up here, and I'm wondering, can I get a road that just snakes its way up the mountain? Do this like that. And around. And around like that. What is that bridge? Okay, gotta make this one steeper, it looks like, otherwise it's gonna look all kinds of strange. If I do it manually here, that looks a bit better. And then it can come on down this way. And I see some resources right down through here. Yep, there we are. A short tunnel right there. And can it double back? Not quite. That is a crazy roadway, but that should get us to the resources up through here. Oh yeah. Zone this. Actually, need to get some roadway actually down on the terrain right here to take full advantage of that resource point. Come on, connect. Yes. Awesome. I guess you guys will need some water, so let's just go ahead and do this number like this. There we go. One more there. And all of this is now industrial. I guess we can fit more commercial over here too. Just to help things grow. And right here. Wow, the residential exploded right there. Man. I'll see if this causes traffic problems, but I'm also going to add an on-ramp right here. Very cool. And maybe a one-way street up this way as well, just to help trucks that are coming off the highway. Where is it? Right here. It can go up these roads and connect right up through here and go this way. Are there any resources down here? Oh, yes, there are. Okay. Let's make sure that the district is covering all of this. Sterling District. That works for me. Industry down through here. And yeah, right there too. And right here. And right here. You guys need electricity. How about some wind power? Just for you guys. Then a connection to the main grid right here. Well, if that will just start to grow, I think we've got a pretty solid industrial base right here. Here comes the first few factories. Not enough workers. Come on, folks, move in. Let's do it. I guess it's time for more bus routes as well. Start this one here, and then go to here, and then here, and then here, and then here, here, here. Do one stop downtown somewhere. Let's say here. And then come on over this way. Complete that line. Who else needs some bus service? I think right down through here, actually. Here, and then here. One here. And one here. And perhaps we'll go over here. And then here, and yeah, that's good enough for this one. And that one right there. We're getting a lot of passengers here at this station. Almost 800 per week. That's a relatively new increase. The industry is definitely growing quite slowly. Might add some low-income housing over here, just standard houses amidst all of the industry and rail lines. And they do have water already. I guess from here on out, I need to fill in some more apartments just to keep the job creation going. And I'd like to do kind of like a national park thing over here at the river. Kind of end the city right around this area, and then have just some tourist attractions and a single road that connects out to the highway. Make that the scenic route for sure. You know what, guys? I think I've got time for that in this episode. Let's go ahead and just make our breakaway from the highway here. It's going to go right up this way. And right there is where I'm going to begin the kind of national forest roadway, just the 2-lane. Down through here, though, I want a good number of roads. Let's go ahead and turn snapping back on. Make a nice grid here. If that's going to be a bridge, let's make it look like an actual bridge. Slope too steep. Come on now. I guess that is a pretty severe elevation difference right there. Time to start swinging this thing down like this. I guess at this point I'll go ahead and just make that a bridge. Can we make it look good though? That's the question. Oh, well that works too. Connecting road here. Although I think this loop, yeah, the loop for the lake community is actually one direction, so that'll just have to do. I'm gonna leave this slope just undeveloped. It's gonna be hard to get roads down there anyway. Looking good so far. And this road's going to loop all the way up here and connect there with the industrial section. And then I want a neighborhood up here, one that goes down like this, and one that goes like that, and here. And that should do it, guys, for the final section of the city. That's going to be our last development before we hit the national park area. I am thinking though that I am going to do a nice national park road that kind of connects up to this one. I'll break it off from the lake area here. We'll see if anyone actually takes this thing. Looking good so far. Then we'll connect it right there. Cool. Now this section needs some water. I'm just going to go ahead and coat the whole thing. And then commercial and residential is what people are asking for. So commercial in here, and then some light commercial all the way up this way. And this will be apartments. Seeing their lakeside, I'll probably work on getting their value up using parks and whatnot to just increase that land value. And commercial, and then just houses up through here. And houses up through here. Maybe a bit of commercial just right before that second national park road. Residential through here, and here, and all of this. Awesome. That's growing quite quickly. Well, while that grows, let's get this other road going. I'm going to have it wave back and forth just a bit, and then cut right over the waterfalls. Definitely the scenic route. Should I make this one way? I think I'm going to make it two way. Let me fix that. I'm very glad that you can just click and drag for this. There we go. Let's get a real cool looking bridge going here too. Nice high bridge. I'll start with the centerpiece there just so it's nice and straight. What is that? Gentle slope, please. Fine, I'll do it all manually. Come on. Much better. And the downslope starts here and goes right over to there. Perfect. Seeing this is the scenic route, let's do a loop back here. Then around through the ridgeline here, over the ridgeline, down the hill, and down like this. That brings us to the highway system. Pretty cool. I think I'll just create a road that goes under, and then cars can just get off and on right here. It's actually a bit larger than I was planning on, but I'll smooth it out just a bit. There we go. The terrain editing gets expensive quickly. There we go. Alright, Snap, stop trying to make weird angles here. There we go. Now that looks pretty good right there. Could probably use just a bit of extra smoothness on this side to help with making room for the ramps. Okay, cool. Bring this down here. And then highway ramp this way. And highway ramp that way. And here. And there as well. Boom. So there is the entranceway for our park system. Not sure if anyone's going to use it. How are things building up back in this section? The commercial filled in immediately. Residential is getting there. And this industrial section is finally growing. Okay, who needs some parks? Wow, you guys all need some parks, it looks like. Can I afford to give all of these people parks is the question. We'll drop some and see how it goes. That'll cost us some housing, but looks like the people are going to enjoy those. Let's do a big one out here in the countryside. Right on the edge of our farming community. Anybody else? Do one more over here. It's a large playground. And going back to this side of the city, you guys definitely need some parks. Not a lot of room though. Yeah, slope too steep just about everywhere. We'll do one here. And then how about, see, large playground, small park. Do a second small park there. Plaza with trees, a small playground, there we go. I bet I can fit that in like, yeah, right here. Then small park again, maybe, yeah, right here is fine. And one more somewhere in here. Not in the industrial section, but perhaps. Yeah, there we go. Had some dead space right there. Only lost a few buildings. Oh, yeah, fire services. Whoops. Let's give you guys a full-size fire department somewhere. We'll put them... Let's not put them in the intersection. I'll put them right here. There we go. I guess bus services too. Let's do one here, here, here. There. Where else could we go? I'll say the train station. And then... here. You know what? That should do it. Complete line. Is anyone taking the road yet? Wait. Yes. Could it be a station wagon? That is absolutely perfect for a car touring the national park. Got an ore truck coming in, so it looks like a few industrial vehicles are using the road. Actually, a decent number of cars are. That's okay, though. Given the distance and how much faster the highway is, it shouldn't get too much traffic. Just about the right amount, it looks like. Let's check out the view from the bridge. That's pretty awesome right there. Well guys, we have covered a lot in this episode, thanks to all the time that I put in before the episode began. I've been having a lot of fun, in case you guys couldn't tell, with this rebuild. I feel like the design of this version of the city is pretty solid. I'm real happy with it. Passengers are increasing at the airport too. As always, if you guys have suggestions, like when a lot of you pointed out that the airport was just kind of too crowded when it was over here, post them in the comments and I will definitely check them out and possibly take those suggestions into account for next time. For now, thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll catch you guys on that next episode.